Hey, good morning, everybody. It is 2:29 a.m. and I am still up and looking at stuff. And the flooding threat has really taken over as the main issue. I'm making sure I don't have my wife as backup, so I'm making sure everything's looking good here. A new flood warning was just issued for Grant, Natchitoches, and Wynn Parish. That goes until 5:15 a.m. There is a flood warning across parts of Beauregard and Vernon Parish. That carries a considerable tag with it, which is just a step up and shows that this is a more serious threat. I'm just looking at any alerts coming in. Okay, so here's what we have on radar right now. We have very heavy rainfall, actually mercifully moving just east of Leesville, just south of Leesville. Let me put over the, I wish I could lay this over it. I can't do that. What I'll do is just put the accumulation up the last 3 hours, and you can see where that heaviest swath is, and I know what I can do. What I can do is telestrate over it, and we can kind of circle. Whoops. I know what I did. Sorry, guys. There we go. There we are. So let's just circle this heaviest band of rain. And this is generally going to be from most of Vernon, northwestern Beauregard Parish, and then out into Texas here. And radar estimates are over 8 inches in spots, and we have actual reports that I've seen, like ground truth reports, approaching 8 inches per some gauges out there in eastern Texas. So that doesn't carry over here, but that shows me if I'm seeing those totals approaching 8 inches, say, just south of Jasper, well, when I see the same color there on radar, we're probably going to be seeing something similar. Let me go ahead and turn that audio down. Okay, now we got the comments up too. Yes, we are all going to be tired later today. So what I'm going to do, why I drew this, I'm going to keep it together here. Why I put that in there is I'm going to jump over to the reflectivity and show you that, yes, the very heavy rain is still falling in this part of the area that I kind of highlighted here. So that puts the flooding threat continues out here into Texas. It continues across this area here in Vernon Parish and northwestern Beauregard, still seeing some very heavy stuff. But fortunately, for now at least, I'm seeing a bit of a break there across western and central Vernon Parish, west of Leesville. So that's where we've seen some really heavy radar estimates. I've seen reports of over 7 inches of rain locally, and that's why we have these flood warnings. Flooding has become the biggest concern, which is not a crazy surprise. Just looking at the cameras here. Yeah, it's raining everywhere. Well, not everywhere. Obviously, it's down in St. Landry Parish. You're like, what's going on? Like, it hasn't done anything here yet. But yeah, so I'm going to put this in motion. I'm going to take this off of here and show you how this rain has kind of this real heavy stuff is now surging in and finally moving in. I say finally like, like I'm waiting for it. And finally, I guess I'm just saying that because, again, I'm delirious. It's 2:30 in the morning. But it seems like I've been waiting for this for a while. We've had the scattered rain. I'm up to 0.31 inches since midnight. That puts me at 0.6 since this started yesterday, and 1.4 if we include Mondays. So rainfall totals are creeping up, and they are going to do much more than creep up here over the next hour or two. So if you have to travel, I know a lot of people, work calls for it, and you gotta do what you gotta do here. But it looks like it's gonna really get nasty here over northern and really all of Rapides Parish over the next couple of hours. Vernon Parish, you're still under that flood warning, and down into northwestern Beauregard Parish, that's where we're seeing the worst of it, but still some very heavy rain. And flood warnings really, from northern Catahoula back through all of LaSalle, Grant, chunk of Wynn Parish, parts of Natchitoches and Sabine, it looks like you are now officially out of the flood warning, so one little bit of good news there. But now the focus is going to be on this big arc of rainfall right here that goes from Vicksburg down through Gina, now into Alexandria, Leesville, or just south of Leesville, across DeRidder, northern Beauregard Parish, and then into Jasper and Newton County, Texas. So lots of rain, plenty of it. And let me know what you're seeing. I'm checking the comments. I'm just kind of watching radar, looking at comments now, and waiting to update. And what I'm doing here is, flood warning is very serious. So I do kind of cover this differently than, if it were tornado warnings or things like that, but I want to go on every hour or so and kind of give you an update on things. We have seen some hail reports. I saw some out around Coteal and then down toward Fort Johnson, and where else was it? Rose Pine had some hail there as well. Mainly small stuff, though. Not seeing any reports of any really big, crazy hail, but I'm thinking, I'm looking at this one right here. it looks like probably going to be some small hail with this right over Pollock. So this storm between Dry Prong and Pollock probably putting down some hail. The rain really picking up here across northern Rapides Parish right now. But it looks to me like there's kind of an eastward push here. Now, any eastward push has really been met with resistance here as that southerly flow strengthens and kind of pushes this to the north. So we're going to have to see how this all goes. Now, again, I talked about this earlier. The good news is if we do, say we get this line to kind of move through, take the instability, what that's going to do, and I'll just go out and zoom way out here. What that's going to do then is, and let me put it on the national radar, that's going to help to keep this stuff further south. So as of now, as it's going right now, these are moving toward the northeast, and this could link up with this. I'm really watching to see the characteristics of this line as it continues on through the area overnight, but you can see any eastward motion has really kind of, it doesn't last long, and we're even seeing this retreating back to the north here. So this line of heavier showers and thunderstorms is just going to continue to kind of waver over this area. We'll see these surges to the east, and then perhaps it'll lift back to the north, and then we'll just see how this goes down here as this system continues on to the northeast. Let me go ahead and kick it back to the regular radar, but I also want to take you through the latest HRRR model. That's our high resolution model that I like it. It's kind of, I don't know, I think it does a good job. It's been kind of all over the place on this one. Oh, that was our sky camera right there in Alexandria. This is the latest one. So let's step through this and see what this is showing here. And I'm seeing this one for the first time myself. So this is, okay, so we're at 3 a.m. here, so, 25 minutes away, 4, 5 o'clock. So that would put, 2 to 3 hours of very heavy rainfall. This model has been pretty quick to try to shove this to the south and east. I haven't really seen anything like nudging this to the east for a while, so we'll see if this continues, but I think this is going to kind of hang up over the area. And as that continues to push that way, those storms are coming out of Texas, but they meet this air here, which is pretty stable. So by 6 a.m., it's going to be pouring rain, but maybe we're not going to be under the gun for some crazy severe weather, which that would be nice. We already saw the one likely tornado in southern Sabine tonight. And you see how that line kind of, it goes down into South Louisiana. We keep a lot of rain. We keep that flow coming up over top of the front. That's going to keep us in the wet stuff here through at least mid-morning. But then, look at this, because the instability is able to kind of regenerate and the main upper system is still out here over Texas, if the storms now kick the instability out for that morning wave, it's possible we get enough instability for a late morning round. But let me tell you, by then, Tom Convico will be taking over this operation because I will be sleeping. But that is the solution this is giving, and even trying to give us another one by 6 p.m. So that one, we'll have to see on that. But I would just plan on scattered storms off, and I'd plan on heavy rain for the next several hours across most of the area. And that's going to even encompass areas down in St. Landry and Evangeline and parts of Allen Parish that haven't seen a ton of rainfall yet. But then tomorrow, that's going to leave some questions that I will leave for Tom to answer because, like I said, by then I will have to sleep. I am a bit of a sleep aficionado, and missing it makes me crabby. So these thunderstorms to the southwest, you can see how those are retreating back a bit toward the north, getting a surge to the east right now that's giving a break to areas like Leesville, back to South Toledo Bend, western Vernon Parish. If you're west of Leesville, around Burr Ferry and Evans, you're seeing much lighter rain than you saw earlier. Some of these areas have seen over 7 inches of rainfall, looking at radar estimates and actual measurements we've seen. And then that heavy stuff is moving right across my house right now. I'm up to 0.42 since midnight, so 0.11 more since the last check. And there's just going to be a lot of that rain falling. It's going to be tough to travel. I don't have up to the second, one thing is if it's just me doing this, I don't have a news department or anything, so I don't have information on road closures, things like that, but I would guess that there are some that will be closed out of a setup like this with all that rain falling out west. And unfortunately, a lot of people are probably going to get woken up here pretty soon as this lightning is going to come overhead with these big storms, and that is going to be loud. It's going to wake you up. I hope it doesn't wake the kitties up, and I hope it doesn't scare the puppies and all that good stuff. Let me look at the Let me look at this now. Comments here. In Avoyelles, depends on where you are. If you're in Marksville or Bunkie, it'll be there probably within the next hour or two. If you're further east towards Simsport, or like Larto, that area, it's going to be maybe even a few hours, maybe 3-4 hours before it gets there. This thing's moving pretty slowly. Leesville has already had to rescue a couple of people from flooding due to driving through the flooding. Trees down as well, power outages. Yeah, that's not surprising. Watching from Burr Ferry, well, I'm glad to see that you have power and have not floated away. Yeah, Leesville has started closing some areas. Not surprising. It's crazy that, I've seen less than an inch of rain, less than a half an inch since midnight, and less than 3/4 for this whole thing. And obviously that's changing now, but to think that, 40 miles, 50 miles west, 7-8 inches of rain has fallen. That's why forecasting the weather can be tough, but I think so far this has played out pretty close to what I thought was at least potentially going to happen. I still think someone's going to end up with 10 inches of rain total out of this thing as that rain continues to fill in and push toward the north. So if you're in a flood warning right now, say the rain's slowing down, don't get overconfident because you're seeing this renewed development back here. I think that could shove back to the north, so we're going to have to be watching the radar closely overnight, and I will be doing that until I get that sweet, glorious text from Tom in the morning saying, "I'm up, big guy, I can handle this." I'm going to get out of here. The tornado threat, I see a lot of questions on that. The tornado threat to me, SPC has kept part of the area in a moderate risk. The rest of us are in enhanced risk, level 3 of 5. So 10 to 15% risk of tornadoes within 25 miles of a point. I personally don't see that. I think it's lower. Just the way things are kind of evolving here, we're going to see a lot of convective overturning. We're going to see a lot of the instability get knocked out here. At least surface-based instability is going to get knocked away by these big storms here. And then we just kind of are at the mercy of how things reload tomorrow. But I don't foresee with those next storms coming in a huge tornado threat. It's the wind fields are all going to get messed up and everything. So things are changing, and the initial thought was that this line might actually hold a little further north, and if that happened, this thing comes in down here. You see all this lightning approaching Houston. I can take that off and show you the actual storms, but these big cells down here, I was thinking this forms a big squall line, and that is going to be a pretty wicked bow echo that moves across the area. The other option was flooding rainfall like this, and I think that's what we're setting up for, what we're seeing already here with all these flood warnings in place, and I do expect more to be issued through the night. I'm going to take off for now. I hope I answered most of the questions, got you the tornado update, got the flooding rains in the area. I am going to sit here and stare at radar, and I will probably, update in an hour or so unless something warrants to come on a little sooner. I hope y'all have a great evening, and I hope you get some sleep. I will eventually. I'll see you later.